Hello ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to you live from the ESPN Sport Complex at Disney World, Orlando, Florida. I am with you all the way, my name is Nomad Raven, and I am ecstatic to be bringing this event to you. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know what is going on here. It is the 2021 NWA Draft. Now, we've had a lot of speculation, and I do not have the order for you. That will be announced later on, I believe. You know what's coming at you tonight. It is the NWA Draft. We had the tweet sent last February that sent shockwaves around the wrestling world. Jeff Bezos acquiring the controlling stake in the NWA and turning it back into a governing body. Now, there were immediately contract negotiations, lots of different promotions that were interested, wrestlers that wanted to sign these contracts straight away. The benefits to the performers are absolutely incredible. And eventually you had the confirmation of who was going to be on board, and Vince McMahon finally getting on board with the NWA. So to confirm once and for all, we have within the NWA the WWE, Impact Wrestling and All Elite Wrestling. This is going to be an incredible night. All three companies are going to be drafting tonight. This is really exciting times. Without any further ado, let's run through the rules for tonight's proceedings. This will be a blind draw in a snake format. Each company has submitted their list of 100 athletes that they want to sign. This will be used to tabulate each company's next available selection. It's done in this format to prevent any form of tactical picking. People can't be picked simply to be kept away from other promotions and then left on the shelf. This way it's best for the performers and it's best for you, the fans. Each company will make 25 total selections tonight. They will select 14 men, 6 women and 5 tag teams. Anyone left undrafted can perform for any company as needed. All wrestlers that signed an NWA contract will be eligible to be drafted, but by any company. If a champion is drafted by their current company, then they will retain the belt or belts. However, if a champion is drafted by any other company or goes undrafted, then that belt will subsequently be vacated. So without any further ado, we're going to throw it back to ringside and we're going to introduce the Chief Operating Officer of the NWA, William Jeffries. Really excited to see what Mr. Jeffries has to say here tonight. I've got a feeling we may well get an announcement about who has which selection. That number 1 overall pick in the draft being such a valuable commodity. And they drew lots earlier on today. It's been kept under lock and key. I have no idea who's picking where. So let's see what he's going to say. So much hard work has gone to get us here. And the response to it all has been overwhelmingly positive. And not a truer word spoken. Wrestling is nothing without you, the fans. Oh wow. An NWA commissioner. Who's it going to be? Oh wow! Captain Charisma Christian is here. The roof of this building has just been sent rocking. The fans have gone absolutely wild here. What an announcement to kick off tonight. Christian is a former 2-time NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. He's a former ECW Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, Intercontinental, Light Heavyweight, European Champion, and not to mention a 9-time Tag Team Champion. This guy has literally done it all. And in this newly formed role of NWA Commissioner, who better to pick than someone with all that experience? He knows what the fans want, he knows what the performers need, and I think he will do a splendid job. Looking out into that crowd, he is going to see an awful lot of peeps out there tonight. So let's see what Christian has to say in his first announcement as NWA Commissioner. It sounds positive for everybody. Wow, Impact Wrestling has the #1 pick. That #1 selection is incredibly valuable. Who are they going to pick? It could be absolutely anyone from all 3 rosters being selected first overall by Impact Wrestling here. So without any further ado, let's head over there. The #1 pick in the draft is Kevin Owens. Wow. What a selection. I wouldn't have necessarily thought of him for a #1 pick overall in the draft. But Impact obviously see him as incredibly valuable to select him so high. He does just want to fight anybody. And you've got to think, taking him in #1 overall, he must immediately move into the Impact World title picture. We're going to head over to AEW and find out who's next. #2 in the draft is... Oh, well, the lights in the arena have come on. I'm getting word in my ear that, yeah, there's no one back there to come out. Okay, I'm being told that we're going to head over to Raw and find out who's coming out 3rd in the draft. Apologies about that, I'll try and get word to you soon. And the first overall pick for WWE Raw is none other than the WWE Champion, Roman Reigns. It is official, Raw is his island. The WWE Champion is staying put. The head of the table is here and everyone will have their eyes on the Tribal Chief. And as a snake format, Raw have #4 as well, and they've decided to make that pick phenomenal. This man has literally done it all. He's won championships all over the globe. And could he be the man to finally vanquish the Tribal Chief? You've got to think that he is in that upper echelon of stars. So snake format tonight, we're going to be heading back to AEW next. Now, are we actually going to get someone come out? Oh, we are, and it is none other than the AEW World Champion, Kenny Omega. So the AEW Champion has been retained by AEW, and this egomaniac is not going to be happy about being drafted 2nd. You can be certain of that. But without a shadow of a doubt, irrespective of how you feel about him, he is one of the best wrestlers in the world. And we're going to head back over to Impact, and they'll have 2 picks back to back. Number 6 is... Wow! We've got CESARO as the number 6 pick in the draft. Again, Impact are going surprising here. I'm not sure many people in their mock drafts had him being taken this high. But you could say that previously this man has been underused, overlooked and disrespected for far too long. When it comes to actual in-ring talent, there probably aren't that many that are better than this man. Really excited to see what's in store for CESARO on Impact. Number 7 pick for Impact, we have the Usos. First tag team off the board, and again, this is 3 picks back to back that Impact are selecting that have been taken from that WWE roster. Could this be a running trend here tonight? Well, it definitely shows you that Impact are putting high stock in their tag team division, and I'm excited to see who's going to join them here on Impact and who's going to be vying for those tag team championships. Obviously currently held by the Good Brothers, but we have no idea where they'll end up and whether they'll retain. Back over to Dynamite for number 8. No! That music is the Gorillas of Destiny, and they were very vocal about not wanting to be drafted by AEW. Are they here? Again, I apologise about this. I am being told that they are not coming out. I'm actually getting word in my ear that there are some altercations going on backstage. We'll try and get you word of pick number 2 in the draft, and we'll try and get word of what's going on with the Gorillas of Destiny back there as well. Moving on to Raw, we have pick number 9, and this man from the Highlands of Scotland, Drew McIntyre. Again, these are some high caliber picks from Raw, and you've got to think that again, he is going to be in or around that title picture, considering that he was the man that lost it without being pinned in that triple threat. When the 2 belts, the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship, were combined, Roman Reigns came out on top, but he defeated The Fiend and not Drew McIntyre. Number 10 selection. Wow. The first man taken from AEW by another promotion, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, is here on Raw. And there's only one thing to say. He is better than you, and you know it. This young man has got star potential written all over him, and I'm really intrigued to see where he's going to fit in the Raw locker room. Back over to AEW. Now, we've had 3 picks thus far, and only 1 person has come out. Are AEW going to suffer the same fate again? No, it's all good. He is here. The Prince is on AEW. Finn Balor, the man that was the first ever WWE Universal Champion. He's recently been an NXT champion, and you've got to think he is going to immediately jump into the picture of taking on Kenny Omega. Impact for number 12. And they are ready to shock the system. Again, continuing this trend of taking WWE talent. If you're in the Impact roster already, you've got to feel a little overlooked that they haven't selected you. But Adam Cole, baby, is here on Impact. And again, we go back to back with the snake draft. Number 13, unlucky for some, it is the Good Brothers. The Impact Tag Champions remain on Impact, and they will defend those belts against all comers. And you've got to think, immediately jumping into that equation are the Usos. Also, will the Good Brothers feel slighted that they're the second team taken and they're the champions? It can't feel good. Back over to AEW we go. number 14. He's here. The king of strong style is on AEW. Similar instance to CESARO. You've got to think that this guy, since moving over from New Japan Wrestling, has been underused, undervalued, and not really been able to highlight his skill set. I'm sure AEW will be a location where he will be able to do that. Over to Raw for selection 15. And it is the first woman taken. It is Sasha Banks. The boss is on Raw. And again, we're seeing a trend here. The first person taken from a particular bracket isn't the champion. Raw haven't selected the women's champion Charlotte Flair, it's Sasha Banks. But number 16, they go back to back, they go back in the well, and they pick up the WWE Women's Champion, and it is Charlotte Flair. You've got to think this means that their women's division is going to be the absolute pinnacle here. Over to AEW next. And in a break from tradition, AEW have selected their women's champion as the first woman taken. Hikaru Shida is here. She will defend that belt against absolutely all comers, and she will defend it valiantly. Some of her battles with Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Rio over the years have been absolutely phenomenal contests, and I can't wait to see what she does. Number 18 for Impact is... oh wow! Becky Lynch! Becky Lynch is here in Impact. Nobody was expecting her to appear. I know that she was on the list of available draftees, but no one was actually expecting her to appear here tonight. And she is here to shake up the Impact Women's division. Pick number 19. They are coming thick and fast here. And again, running theme. WWE talent taken by Impact is Asuka. One of the most feared and revered women's wrestlers in the world, and I'm really intrigued to see what she has in store for us on Impact Wrestling. Back to AEW we go for pick number 20. Oh, we have the Hurt Business coming in. Now, we were aware that Cedric Alexander wasn't going to be here tonight, but he is in this group as well. And they are perfectly placed to dominate AEW. They have everything. They have tag teams. They have in-ring generals. They have powerhouses. They are going to be formidable. And pick number 21 for Raw is FTR. AEW loses one of their top tag teams to Raw. Really interesting to see the first tag team taken by the WWE isn't actually a WWE tag team. It was one that they released earlier in 2020. And Raw going back to back with pick 22. And it is a team from Impact coming over to Raw. Taking the talent from the Impact locker room, their Motor City Machine Guns are on Raw. Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley have been around the world. They've done it all. And they are incredibly talented. Pick 23 for AEW. And the Doctor will see you now. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, is staying on AEW. They are sticking with the AEW women's division. Incredibly talented in the ring, incredibly talented on the mic. This woman can do it all, and she will have some more incredible battles with Hikaru Shida. 24 for Impact is Bayley. Again, stacking the Impact Women's division with WWE talent. You've now got Becky Lynch, Asuka and Bayley. That is some top caliber stars there, and that women's division can rival anyone's. Impact going back to back with pick 25. The second Impact talent taken by Impact is the draw, Sami Callihan. That is not good news for any wrestler on the Impact Wrestling roster. That man is an absolute rogue, he's a renegade, and he will go off at the flick of a switch. Number 26 for AEW. And he is here. Jon Moxley is staying put on AEW. The man that since leaving the WWE has gone around the world and done it all. He's been AEW champion, he's been IWGP US Heavyweight Champion, and you've got to think he's going to be vying for that AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I'm getting word from a producer that we've got footage of the altercation that occurred backstage. Viewer discretion is advised because apparently this is rather graphic. Oh, an AEW World Champion Kenny Omega attacked from behind by Tama Tonga with the steel chair, and he is absolutely brutalising him backstage. Now, I believe that this was a continued assault and went on for a while before anyone was able to find them backstage. Tama Tonga had made it very clear that if he was drafted by AEW, he had no interest in actually performing and would just take it out on Kenny Omega. Oh god, and he puts him through the table. Salt in the wounds of using Kenny Omega's own taunt for him. And then hits him with the gun stun, and Kenny Omega left backstage and bloody. Again, I apologise about the graphic nature of that footage, but we had to show you what was going on backstage when that music hit. We'll try and get word on the status of Kenny Omega. Word has it that he's been taken to a local medical facility, and we are expecting word on Tama Tonga in the hour from Tony Khan. We will continue on with the draft and pick 27 for Raw. Here we go, Johnny Wrestling. Johnny Gargano has been selected by Raw. If there are any that can out-wrestle this man, you'd be hard-pressed to find them, and some of the possibilities here are limitless. Really excited to see what he has to bring to the table. Pick 28. And yes, you couldn't have one without the other. These former members of DIY, and I'm excited for them to either relight their rivalry that has seen some of the best wrestling matches that you have seen over the last few years, or if they were to relight that tag team. Really excited to see Tommaso Ciampa taken by Raw. We're going to head to AEW for pick 29. And he has been retained by AEW. Le Champion. He has had many names over the years. Chris Jericho has been kept by AEW. The fans are excited to see him here. I'm really interested to see where he will sit since the breakup of the Inner Circle. Will he try and reform that organisation? If some of the parts of it are brought back to AEW, we'll have to wait and see. Pick 30 for Impact. No. Is he here? All people that signed NWA contracts are eligible, but I can't believe it. The Switchblade, Jay White, has been selected by Impact Wrestling. That is one of New Japan Pro Wrestling's top stars, one of their brightest, being taken by Impact. And number 31. Wow, the EVP of AEW Wrestling has been selected by Impact. You knew some of these curveballs were coming at you tonight. You knew that some of these moves were going to shock the wrestling world. I'm really excited to see what's in store for us. Cody is incredibly talented in the ring, on the mic. Got to think that he is going to be in that upper echelon. Back to AEW, pick 32 now. Oh wow, the Lucha Brothers are staying on AEW. AEW with a bit of a theme here, the same as Raw, selecting talent from within. If you haven't seen these guys perform, then you are in for an incredible treat. And they are not only an incredible tag team, they are fantastic singles performers as well. Raw for pick 33 now. And they select the New Day. Again, really sensible pickup from Raw. Not only do you have all three of these are in phenomenal singles competitors. Either way you go about this trio, they make a great tag team. And it includes the WWE Intercontinental Champion Big E. Great pick by Raw. And pick 34 as we go back to back. And the WWE Tag Team Champions are staying put. The Street Profits are here on Raw. They have dominated the tag team division for the last year or so in WWE television, and I'm excited to see the matchups that they could have. Obviously, they have crossed paths with the New Day numerous times, but they've now got FTR and the Machine Guns to face off against. Really exciting times in the WWE Tag Team division. Oh, and speaking of an exciting time in the tag team division elsewhere, look no further. The AEW Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, have been retained. You've got to think it's time for a super kick party around here. Let's go over to Impact for pick 36. They're coming thick and fast now as the time between selections has been reduced. And you've got to think what is in store for us here. Impact select the remaining members of the Undisputed Era, but with the recent actions splintering the faction, so Adam Cole has been seen mostly on his own recently. I'm interested to see what the future has for us here. But these three look pretty in sync, and again they are going to make waves in the Impact Wrestling Tag Team division. Pick 37 for Impact. No! Incredible selection by Impact. They've already taken one of New Japan's brightest. But now they have taken probably New Japan's greatest star, the man who makes it rain money, the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. This man has been at the absolute pinnacle of New Japan Pro Wrestling for the last 5 or 6 years. And not to forget, he had a forgettable tenure with Impact Wrestling when it was formerly known as TNA. Back to AEW for pick 38. And again, speaking of Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle since their breakup, their disbandment, Santana and Ortiz, proud and powerful, are here on AEW. Incredible tag team, work brilliantly as a tandem, but again, same as the Lucha Brothers, can perform as single stars. We're going to head back to Raw for pick 39. No. The women's division of the WWE is going to be shaken up with the Undead Bride, Su Yung, here on Raw. This woman is incredibly unpredictable. You never know what aspect of her personality you're going to see from one day to the next. But one thing is for sure, whenever you put her in between those ropes, you get performance. And they go back to back with pick number 40, and it's going to be, speaking of the women's division, you would be hard pressed to find a woman more athletic than Bianca Belair. Some incredible matches here. We've got Sasha Banks, we've got Charlotte Flair, we've got Su Yung and Bianca Belair. 2 more picks to round out the women's division, but already that is a stacked division at the WWE. Back to AEW for selection 41. And speaking of stacked women's divisions, AEW select from within again, and Thunder Rosa is here on AEW. Really excited about this. We've already seen her have phenomenal matches with Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida. We're going to reignite those rivalries because all 3 women are staying on AEW. Back to Impact for pick number 42. Wow. SCU, SOCAL Uncensored, are on Impact. Again, really astute pick by Impact Wrestling. All three of these, no matter which way you break them up, are great as tag team wrestlers, but they're also incredible singles performers as well. Pick 43. And a selection from Ring of Honor. The Briscoes are here, bringing Sussex County strong style to Impact Wrestling. They are unpredictable, they are violent, and that is going to shake up the tag team division in Impact Wrestling. Back to AEW for selection 44. Oh wow, speaking of New Japan talent being brought across, the aerial assassin Will Ospreay. Over the last couple of years, he has transitioned from an incredible and wonderful high flyer into a legit main eventer. Really excited to see what the future has in store for him on AEW. Number 45 for Raw. Speaking of, we have the one and only Ricochet has been selected by Raw. Some feel that again he has been undervalued and underutilized on WWE television. This clean slate, this fresh start can be a new beginning for Ricochet, and we can really see that the sky is the absolute limit for this man. Selection 46 for Raw is going to be... Some have been surprised that he's not been selected until this stage. I have been keeping my eye on social media, and the Yes Movement is loud and proud on social media, and the Yes Movement is loud here in the arena. Daniel Bryan selected 46th overall by WWE Raw. And we head over to AEW for the 47th pick. Who's it going to be? They finally pick from the WWE Women's Division. Toni Storm selected 47th overall by AEW. This AEW Women's Division is stacked, and in Toni Storm, unlimited potential. This woman can do it all. We go back to Impact for 48 and 49. 48th selection is... Wow, what a pick by Impact. They pick from within their own ranks. Moose is back on Impact. This man has been on an absolute tear over the last year. He has looked untouchable, and he brings a level of violence seldom seen. They're coming again thick and fast. The timings have been shortened again. Pick 49 is... Wow, Vera Loca is here on Impact Wrestling. TAYA Valkyrie has been selected 49th overall. Again, this women's division is stacked. You've got Becky Lynch, you've got Asuka, you've got Bayley, but none of them can really compete in terms of physicality. TAYA Valkyrie will tower over them all. Back to AEW for selection 50. Wow, in terms of untapped potential, there's not many that come close to this man. The bastard Pac has been retained by AEW. He can do it all. He can brutalize you. He can go to the top and fly. He can beat you in any number of ways. Really exciting pick. The 51st selection by Raw is Elias. The crowd do not seem pleased about that. They are not his biggest fan. They are not walking with this man. Really intrigued to see where he's going to find himself. I think he will probably be going straight after Big E and that Intercontinental Championship. 52nd pick by Raw. And you think you know him. They have selected a legend in the game, the ultimate opportunist, the rated R superstar. Edge is here on WWE Raw. This man has quite literally done it all. Really excited to see what he brings to WWE and where he finds himself in the picture. Back to AEW for number 53. And they have finally selected their TNT champion. Darby Allin is here. This man is incredibly impressive. He can do everything. He can wrestle, he can fight, but he can also withstand an incredible amount of punishment and has a level of resilience seldom seen in the professional wrestling world. Number 54 for Impact Wrestling, and they again continue to stack that women's division. Ember Moon moves over to Impact Wrestling. Ember Moon has one of possibly the most devastating moves in all of professional wrestling. When she hits you with the Eclipse, it is good night and game over. And pick 55 for Impact. Wow. Another person that has been underutilized, overlooked and undervalued. Whether you know him by any of his different monikers, Aleister Black is here on Impact Wrestling and he will shake things up. That is for sure. Pick 56 for AEW. And they select the Bruiserweight. Pete Dunne is here on AEW. Selected one pick behind Darby Allin, and you've got to think that that is where he is going to find himself in a battle for that TNT Championship. We head back to Raw for pick 57. And they pick a member of the Riot Squad. It is Liv Morgan. Really excited to see what they do with Liv. She's incredibly popular and incredibly underrated inside that ring. Pick 58 for Raw as they continue to come thick and fast. And they round out their women's division with the fabulous, the untouchable Carmella is here on WWE Raw. The women's division rounded out, you've got Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, Su Yung, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and now Carmella. Pick 59 for AEW. Talking about the women's divisions, Bea Priestley is here. She has history with Britt Baker. She has history with Toni Storm. Really exciting matchups on the horizon for AEW. And we head over to Impact Wrestling for selection number 60, and it is none other than their own Tenille Dashwood. She's had a different attitude about her recently, got rid of Caleb with a K. She is standing on her own 2 feet and she is ready to take her seat at the top of the Impact Women's division. Selection 61, and they select Sami Zayn. This man has had a new attitude about him recently. He's no longer whinging and complaining all the time. He is back to just putting on an absolute clinic inside the squared circle. Pick 62 for AEW. Selection 62 for AEW, and again they select one of their own. They select Sammy Guevara. The sky is the limit for this man. He has untapped potential. He can beat you on the mat, he can beat you through the air, and he is incredibly charismatic. Now we're going to take a brief sojourn from the picks right now. There will probably be a statement out on the website shortly, but the tweet reads, due to the reprehensible actions of Tama Tonga on tonight's landmark NWA show, the Gorillas of Destiny are hereby suspended indefinitely. We simply can't allow incidents like tonight's to occur moving forward. And I'm getting word in my ear that as we've read that, a tweet has gone live from Tama Tonga responding and firing back. Wow, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, that picture says it all. The tweet reads, suspended. We told you not to draft us and your dumbass did it anyway. Those NWA contracts don't even have worldwide exclusivity. So F all y'all, we're heading back to the kingdom. Hashtag Bullet Club. Oh dear, Tama Tonga is a law unto himself. And that tweet says it all. So if you're going to suspend them, they're going to head back to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, following on from that bombshell announcement, again, I can't stress how badly this has gone for AEW tonight. So continuing on with the draft, and it is best friends. You've got Trent, you've got Chuck, and you've got Orange Cassidy freshly squeezed. Again, a really good pickup and astute selection by Raw. Back to back for Raw as we take selection 64. And it is the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. This man has done it all throughout his career. Really excited to see what's in store for him on Raw moving forward. AEW for selection 65. And if you hear that music, you know what follows is Tekka's. Zack Sabre Jr. is here on AEW. The level of technical grappling that he does, it's the old British style, that World of Wrestling style. He's a master at that joint manipulation style, and he can submit you from absolutely anywhere. We're going to head to Impact now for selection 66. And they select a man that goes a long way back with them. He's been rather maniacal recently on Impact Television. He's been violent by design. Eric Young is here on Impact Wrestling. And selection 67, who do they take? And they select Velveteen Dream. In terms of athleticism, he is another star, may well be unmatched on Impact Wrestling. I think you will probably see him vying for the X Division Championship in the near future. Head back to AEW, selection 68. Let's see who they pick. And they select the free agent, the villain, Marty Scurll. He's another one that wrestles that World of Wrestling style. That man can do it all, and he is one of the most vicious in the ring, but also one of the most vicious on the mic. We head back to Raw with the 69th selection overall. What a pick. The national treasure, the dealer, Nick Aldis. The most important fact you need to know about this man is he is the former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. He will not be happy that he had to vacate that championship. He'd held it since October 2018 and he had defended it all over the world against all comers. It will be up for grabs later in the year at the cross-promoted NWA Crowning Glory. He automatically gets put into that match, and I'm really intrigued to see across all three companies who he will be facing at Crowning Glory for that belt. Selection number 70 for Raw is, well, this man truly is limitless, and it is time to bask in his glory. You have to see him to believe him. The fact that that man, the size he is, can move the way he does is incredible. Selection 71 for AEW. Ruby Riott is on AEW. They've rounded out their women's division and it is stacked with talent. Heading to Impact for pick 72. And it is the top 1%. EC3, Ethan Carter III, is on Impact Wrestling, where he has a very elite heritage and history with the promotion. The final pick for Impact Wrestling, number 73, is... They've left it until the final selection, but they have finally selected the Impact World Champion. Rich Swann is here and he is getting down on Impact Wrestling. The final selection for AEW, selection 74, is Well, now is the time we play. The OJMO, Michael Oku, is here on AEW, mainly seen on independent promotions like Progress in the UK. Michael Oku can do it all, and when he locks you in that half crab, it is time to tap out. And we're going to head to Raw for the final selection. Number 75 is King Corbin. He will hold that moniker until NWA Crowning Glory later on in the year, and will crown a new King and Queen of the Ring. And King Corbin will not be happy if he loses that moniker. He has made a living off of that over the last couple of years. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The 2021 NWA Draft comes to an end with the 75th selection. How do you think the companies did? I'm going to give my personal grades. The WWE, I'm going to grade them as a B. Impact Wrestling, I'm going to grade them A overall. And moving on to AEW, I'm going to grade them as a C overall. So really intrigued to see who that number one selection for AEW was. We've got a number of pay-per-views coming to you. They come thick and fast, and we have one a month. The first pay-per-view that we've got will be the Royal Rumble. Hopefully you enjoy the new format. Hopefully you're as excited about the NWA as I am. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know if there are any big omissions that you think have been missed out by any of the three companies, how you think they've done. Give us your grades on them. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Turn on the bell icon so you get notified of any future content coming down the line. From me, Nomad Raven, thank you very much for joining us tonight on this special episode of NWA. And until next time.